Elizabeth.
And I'm Sophia Michelle.
And we're joined today with Armando for a conversation with Cacao.
Cacao. Cheers.
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 Oh, this has been a long time coming, hasn't it? We've been so excited for this.
Actually, just happened, you were going to do it 6 weeks ago or something, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But thank you so much for joining us today and in the anticipation of what's to come.
Yes.
Very excited. So I would like to kick off with asking you where all your psychic woo-woo began. Like, when did you become aware that you had woo-woo?
A very young age, actually. Yeah. I think, look, my belief is everybody's born psychic. It's just drummed out of us. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't an easy childhood, and therefore I started getting, well, put it this way, every child lived for the weekend because there was no school, right? So, but come Sunday afternoon, by lunchtime, Monday was creeping up, so you were back to school, and I would start getting these premonitions of the crap that was going to happen through the week, and yeah, mostly it did. But as a child, because you had no one to turn to, you couldn't sort of like keep it under control, if you know what I mean, and learn it. And if you understood it, you could get out of trouble, but as a child you couldn't.
It must have been very frightening for you.
It was more depressing than frightening.
Oh, really?
The fright goes out of it, yeah. It's the depression side of things, knowing what was about to evolve.
And were these things that are going to happen at school? Sorry to interrupt. Were there premonitions for what would be happening at school or just the week of school?
Both, yeah. Whether it'd been either bullying or just a bad class or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It was that sort of thing. But it was just like a shit era too, you know, like it was a bit like the old American days, you know, like if you had a poor school, like if you had a poor area, you had a poor school. So coming from a particularly farming poor area, most of it was crap because most of the kids were like from single families or violent, abusive families. So they sort of portrayed themselves as being harder and tougher. So it was a bit of a roughhouse turnout more than, you know. And you could see it too, because that sort of aspect, you sort of didn't learn much because you're either the clown in the class or the rough nut, you know what I mean? So you were in the lower classes, and yeah, it was sort of, there wasn't much help, you know what I mean? Yeah. To get out of that sort of, the teachers really didn't care. They just took care of that class for the day, and that was it, on your way.
Yeah. You must have avoided school then.
Oh, you tried to. You tried to. You'd pull the thing, I'm sick, you know, and get on your horse and do a runner, and then Dad forgot something and he's coming home and you're on your horse.
Didn't go down well.
No, you kept riding, you didn't go home.
Yeah. So when did you start making meaning of what you had then? So you had these kind of premonitions and projections into what was happening in the future week. When did you start to make meaning of it? And not
until probably very, very late teens, early 20s. Mum used to be a reader, so every time I'd come up with something, she'd tell me I was stupid, and she wouldn't let me get in that sort of space.
But she was in it.
Yeah. She the story was quite tragic. Her auntie approached her when she was a very young teen and said, "I'm going to teach you to read cards." And she said, "I don't want to do that." And she said, "Well, you're going to, because it's going to save your life." And it did during the Second World War. But I suppose the stigma of that probably thought that if I took it up, something tragic would happen, like it'd rub off on me, like it did to her. Right. Yet it did save her life. Her auntie got killed in the war. But it did save her life by reading for people. But yeah, she was sort of like against it in one way. So I kept, as I started to understand it and learn it, I kept it a bit of a secret and never sort of mentioned it.
Yes. When did you come out of the closet then, Armando?
Something was said I was at Mum's one day, I think it was Christmas or something, and my mother just looked at me and said, "Are you reading?" And I said, "Yeah," and she never said another word. So that was it, yeah.
Wow. So, did she ever teach you anything, or just completely back?
No, she'd tell you a few things. She used to read playing cards, like poker cards.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so which I always found very confusing, but you've got to use your psychic side with a lot of that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just uncanny. Yeah, she never really didn't want me to, and sort of
Realised that she couldn't stop you.
Yeah. So so you're brought up in a confused world. You know it exists, but you refuse to believe it yourself. And then one day it just clicked, and an opportunity came up, and just went from there.
Yeah. Well, you've been reading here at Mysteries for roughly 3 years, I would say, and I know you've been reading for a long time before that. But what we've seen here is your strengths, and one of your strengths is in scrying. So whether it's just looking into, and when you're finished,
we'll get
you to have a little read about cacao cups. But how did you become aware of that? Is it something you developed?
Well, it's that funny little thing with the lead of the New Year's Day that I showed you girls. That it was a custom. It's a European custom. Don't ask me which country it would have come from, but they used to melt, as we did. You'd melt lead on a spoon, and as you know, it's very combustible with water, but you have to be very careful. We'd melt the lead on a spoon at New Year's Eve, and you would hold it close to the water and just tip it in.
Yep.
And the lead would form different shapes, and then you'd look at these shapes and you'd scry into them, and that'd give you what you saw was your future for the next 12 months. So
I have mine displayed in my home.
Have you?
Yep. As a reminder.
I remember one time I looked at it, and it was definitely, you could see an old sailing ship, and the whole theme was like sunken treasure, so I thought, I'm not going to find treasure through the year. Well, I got made redundant, so the little payout I got was a bonus, but anyway, it was a good year.
Yes,
I got some time off. I know it was brilliant, actually. I thought, well, there was my sunken treasure. But it's rather funny. But the scrying, I think I was always fascinated with Nostradamus' scrying, and how he achieved it, although he was quite high as a kite when he was doing it, on nutmeg, I think it was. Spoon.
Stop putting it in.
Spoonfuls of nutmeg.
Nutmegging the cacao.
I was just thinking to myself, I better start sipping a bit of this.
Yes. Great idea.
Yeah.
Nutmeg.
So I was quite surprised, and he would.
Did he ingest it?
Yeah, he'd swallow it because he just spooned it, and I suppose he got a high on it, because it is hallucinogenic in large quantities. So he must have consumed a lot. But the story goes, he'd have a black cloth, and he'd have a bit of black ink, and he'd put that on the table, and he'd cover himself with a black cloth and let enough light in to shine on the black ink, and that would trigger his scrying. And then he had a person behind him that was scribing for him, writing everything down. So we would just start talking, and I suppose he was channeling, really.
Yeah,
but that's
definitely channeling.
But off his face. But so cheers.
Cheers. Yes.
But that was we sort of, as a child, that was done every New Year's Eve, like a stroke of midnight, and they have a little burner, and you put this bit of lead on the spoon and that sort of thing.
Yep. And the last 2 years you've done that for the both of us. And I know for myself, everything that you scried has come true.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
It's amazing. And tell us about the cards that you use when you do readings, because you don't read tarot, but you read oracle. But your oracle cards are very unique.
Yeah, it's rather funny that I learned to read poker cards.
We call that gypsy reading.
Gypsy reading, is it?
Yep.
Often people that are interested always say that it's pretty much like you've got your king, queen, and your jack. Well, your jack's your young people, the children, and your king and queen, the elderly, the parents, or lover, or whatever. But the suits, like the hearts are blondes, and it's all about the heart. The diamonds are money, and all about redheads. The brunettes are your clubs, and it's all about work, and your spades are your darker people, and all the hard stuff that goes with it. So, but they're very much like tarot in the fact that the minor, you've got your minor arcana and the higher suits and that. So they read pretty much the same. But it's just, learning to interpret them. But mine, I was working for a lady many years ago, and it was a birthday, and her daughter bought her those cards for her birthday. And she said, I'll come inside. She said, we'll have a cuppa and I'll show you these cards my daughter bought me. And she put them on the table and I started flicking through them. And she said, do you think you can read them? And I said, I'll give it a go. And I had a little instruction book. And I just had a quick flick through that and I put the start of them out and put the cards down and just click straight away. Everything come through clear as everything, you know.
Definitely.
And she said, what are you reading? And I said, this place. I said, what do you see here? I said, this is property. And it was just the story started to unfold. It was quite interesting. Very interesting.
Well, you're very good with images. So obviously the scrying, the cards that you read are pictures, no words. You know, so the person having a reading, unless they know those particular cards, and they're not very common, not easy to find, you wouldn't be sitting across from someone like I do in tarot, where they're trying to read for themselves if they know a bit of tarot.
Yeah,
well, to go, oh, is that what you're getting? Oh, I think I'd get that. But I don't suppose you would really get that because.
Well, they're my tool to channel really from spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
They could be as I say to people, they tell a story. All cards tell a story when you put them out. That's the idea of them. But you can be looking at them and following that story, but the messages you're getting are completely different. Yeah. There's a trigger point. You might be reading the story and you'll just think, what's to go with this woman? And all of a sudden you'll get sister. What's to go with the sister, you'll say to yourself, you know, and then the story starts to unfold. And you just mention to them, you know, like, you've got a sister, and they go, yeah. I said, what's the issue? And blurt, you know. Yeah. And to me, it's more like trying to help them sort the issue or stay away from the issue.
Yes.
To me, readings, I always repeat these words. My best friend, his mother was a reader. Before she passed, her exact words were, if you have a reading and it's all shit, that's why you've had the reading, get off your ass and fix it. And it's so true. You know, you can change the outcome. A lot of people sulk and won't do anything, you know. But the cards themselves are out of print now. They were called Titania's fortune cards. And the story goes, the woman that read for Napoleon, she was given a deck of poker cards by a gypsy. And he drew those particular pictures on those cards. Well, this Titania that got it handed down to her, she just kept the pictures and put her own version. And that's the deck. There's 36 cards in the deck. And they're just the photos or pictures that were drawn by the gypsy on the other one. I did many years ago, try to fathom out how she read her cards because it was sort of lost. And there was one explanation and I couldn't follow it and ended up throwing the cards out. Then I was reading for a lady and I was in a daydream while I was reading and Spirit just said, you had it right, but there was no continual format. What she actually did was, as I start, the first 9 cards gave you an insight to what was going on. The rest was all intuition coming through.
Right, yeah.
So by just looking at picking something, it was her concentration so she could pick up from Spirit.
Amazing.
So, but yeah, you still see them online. Like I bought a few decks online, people collect them.
Yeah.
So so the decks wear out, so you pay a bit extra for them. But yeah, you know, it's one of those things. I know Michelle says to me, throw them to the shit house, but you don't need them, but they're my crutch.
No, he doesn't need the cards. He can
it's how I start. You know, quite often I'll ask for the person's jewellery.
Yeah.
But as a dear friend of mine that used to read, she was very spot on, but she could talk underwater. I'll get someone's ring and it'll just tell me why they're here or what's wrong with them. And then I've got to wait a bit, which prolongs the agony, you know. So, yeah.
So you use psychometry, which is holding an object from the person.
Yeah.
And you use the cards as the tool because you don't need them. I think it's just a security thing of having cards in.
Yeah, I think so. I think, I always say to people, it's my crutch, you know, but it's, otherwise it just gives me that bit of time to pick up. I've always been a bit slow on picking up. And you still always have that doubt, is it me or is it Spirit talking, you know?
But it's always been so accurate, like spot on.
Yeah.
Every time I've had a reading with you, everything has come out.
You think to yourself, yeah, well, that goes back to my saying, I can read for others, I can't read for myself.
It's the same for everybody.
As a young person, I'd get into trouble, whether it be law or whatever, you know. Yet the warnings were there, but I just didn't pick them up.
Yeah.
I remember one time I got up early to go out with the boys, and I got the biggest pain in the guts. I was that ill, and I thought, Jesus, like, am I a crook or am I dying? And I closed the car door, and I was going back inside, and all of a sudden it just wavered and went. And I went, hang it, I'll go. Well, I got arrested that day.
Always pay attention to
yeah, but you know what I mean? Like the
instinct.
warnings were so strong.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
But therein lies the lesson.
if I had a
right?
booming voice that said, you got to cop it today, I would have gone back to bed. But no, you know, it just made me feel crook. Yeah, bugger 'em.
But then you just had to make sure that was really something that was going to happen, you
Yeah.
know, so,
Yeah.
so you could
Well-
validate for the next time.
But it's ironic because I'd worked with animals most of my life, and you knew when something was going to go wrong. You know, I think it was at WC Fields once. They'd never worked with children and animals. Something will always go wrong, and it always does. But I always had that instinct whether that animal would turn against me or would go along with what was getting taught or work with. And I always had that warning before they actually exploded or went, you know.
Is that mainly with the horses?
Yeah. And yet for myself, no. I'd have the premonitions or the warnings, and you think, I don't believe in this shit. You know, yet I followed my instinct with the other bit. You know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, it's just, it was uncanny. So, but yeah, it's just how it works. Yeah, it is a hard lesson in life. It's not till you're older, you know, you get a bit wiser, but it's too late then. So I think it's just the lessons of growing up, really. Yeah. And I think even if I was, how would you put it, tutored or nurtured, it wouldn't have worked anyway. Like when you're younger, the world's at your feet, and you know, everything's an opportunity, and whether the warning's there or not. But,
so it's, you know, when you get told something, then maybe you will know it, but when you have the experience yourself, you understand. And so it's about unfolding all of these life lessons so that we understand, you know, because it's a natural as a child, you know, to hear your parents warn you against something or be a little bit overprotective, as it seems, because they've had the experience and they can foresee what might happen. And then it happens because you didn't listen. But now you understand and you've got that embedded lesson within you. So I don't think that there's... well, sometimes a warning needs to be adhered to, but
I mean, it's funny how it works. Like dreams, for instance, you know, like you say to yourself, I know people that predict through dreams, and they've been totally accurate. But dreams, to me, I've had dreams where I think, what the hell would I dream something like that for? Yet in the format, when you think back on it, the prediction was accurate. It was, you're predicting what was to come, but it wasn't how it sort of came out. It doesn't come out like a movie or anything. The warning was there, but you had to sort of piece. Like the characters were different, if you understand what I mean. You know, I think, what are they my dream for? But the play out with people turning against you or doing something was there. It's a bit like that show Medium, you know, where she dreams, but doesn't quite, the people aren't the same, so she can't quite piece it together.
Yes.
And that's exactly, I had a few of those, and that's exactly how it happened. You understand them now when you're older.
And always in hindsight.
Yeah, as the warnings and that. But then, you know, you get to a bit of an age where you're not going to get into trouble. So you don't get those dreams, you know. But but when you think of, to me, when people ask that question, I explain it to them so they learn. And I wish I'd learnt that when I was younger, you know. But there were some of the dreams were actually, they were nightmarish, even for a child, you know, very nightmarish. But it was just a prediction of the future, really. And when you think back on it, you think to yourself, well, what does it mean? But you read it, you could read it, you could put it together like a book when you reflect on it now as to the stages of what happened.
And at such a young age to have predictions like that.
I think
Why were they coming to you?
Well, I think the first one I had that was vivid was when I was 5.
Wow.
And it was all about Mum and Dad were reading cards at the table as they used to, to see what was happening. If times were a bit hard, Mum would read the cards to see if we're going to get out of it and things like that. But I distinctly remember playing on the floor near the front door, and there was a little hole in the fly screen, and the sun was setting, and there was a hill. And the hill didn't exist, but in my dream it did. We went up the hill, and there was a wolf, and it was stalking me. And by the end of the dream, the wolf was devouring me through the fly screen door, and I couldn't get any words out, and I'm halfway down its throat, and Mum and Dad are still reading the cards.
That's not a dream, that's a nightmare.
Well, it was for
Little Red Riding Hood as
but
well.
Yeah, but when I reflect on it now, there was a tale to the story. But to remember that vividly and to have it reoccurring, so it just wasn't one-off. This happened like half a dozen times over a few years, but it was just a pattern of things to come, and they sort of evolved. Not that drastic, not the wolf, yeah. But in other senses, it all came true, yeah.
Wow. So you're really good with your cards that you read. You're really good with scrying. You're really good at interpreting dreams. What other tools have you got in your kit?
Oh no, I love me pendulum.
Yes,
I really do, but they tell lies.
Tells you what you want to hear.
Exactly. If it's for someone else, it's freaking spot on. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. But for me, it just goes back to, you can't reach yourself hard.
Laughs at you.
Yeah.
When I use my pendulum, I have to hold it away and look away. So
I'll try that.
So I don't control the spin.
Yeah, I do. I close my eyes until I can feel that it's moving to then open my eyes. I actually use mine in a reading today, and I'm very limited in how I use it. But it was because the other person, the querent, was asking the question, and the question hadn't fully formed yet before the response was there. So I wasn't attached to what the response should be, but the response was there because obviously Spirit knows what the question is, even though verbally it hadn't completed. So it's interesting.
Because pendulums are very accurate. It's just that for us, we can make it go a certain way.
Yeah, well, you can actually.
For ourselves, not for other people, but for ourselves.
I mean, you can be dead as still anything, and the mind will tell it to spin, and away it'll go a million miles an hour,
Yeah.
And you can have it going like a helicopter, But it's, right. But for asking questions for other people, and that it seems to be, I think if you get your mindset right, it's very accurate, especially for health issues and things like that, and warnings, But I do love it. Yeah. But it's just for myself, I'll have a chuckle with it, like especially after a few drinks, and I'll ask a few questions. I thought, you lying bastard, and I'll throw it in the drawer. But yeah, it's a bit of fun. But I love it. Michelle actually repaired it for me a couple of weeks ago. Yeah,
I zhuzhed it up.
The chain was about 1.5 inches long. It had one of those little cheap chains on it.
Oh yeah.
And every time you use it, break off, and Yeah. So I got to the way I was holding my little fingers. So Michelle gave me a new chain.
We zhuzhed it up.
So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've come to the end of this session, but I know that there's going to be other chapters that we have in conversations with Cacao with you, Armando. It's been an
You can read my
pleasure.
cup now that it's
I can
finished.
read the cup.
You said that you were going to.
Well, those little streaks of chocolate.
Okay. All right. Tell us a little bit about.
I never forget. I worked in a shop, and she used to get these magazines and there'd be up and coming events and everything. And I think the biggest clarity I ever got was from a woman called Stacey DeMarco. And she had a seminar coming up, and I said to the woman in the shop, I said, "Do you want to go to this thing that Stacey DeMarco's put on?" She said, "What the friggin' hell for?" And I just said, "She's a good looking sort. I've never seen her in the flesh, Anyway, we ended up out of shock and head cold that day. We ended up going, but she gave me a lot of clarity into things that just triggered it and got it right for me, if you know what I mean. Yeah. But she just released a book at the time, reading your coffee. It was called The Coffee Oracle or something. I've still got it. Because back in the day, it was like you could only read tea leaves,
Yes.
But and I thought to myself, there's a lot in it.
Yes.
So it doesn't really matter what the medium is, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I do remember though, Mum and Dad had these little glasses smaller than this. They used to make what they call Turkish coffee, and it was brewed in a little copper thing, and these little glasses, they tip them in, and the coffee would be like syrup.
Yeah.
You know, they get head spins from it. And the little sugar cubes, you dunk your cube, put it in your mouth, and sip this friggin' coffee that was that strong, you know.
Yeah.
But they used to read the suds that were on the bottom.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was nothing new, but I was always surprised that she had the ability to put it in a format sort of thing, you know, because it was forgotten, really.
Yeah.
It's so funny because the coffee leaves these lightning streaks.
Yeah.
When you look and read.
Grains, yeah. That one's really smooth. It's your smooth.
A little bit in there.
In the very, very near future for you, it's not turmoil, and it's not an issue, but I'm just picking up, it's like a power, but it's electrical. So I don't know, it's going to be hard to piece together, but the issues are going to be to do with electricity, but it's not a bad thing. There's not going to be shortings or electrical problems or anything, but I just feel like there's something to do with connecting electricity and putting it together. So that's in the very, very near future, actually. And I think the issue is going to be getting the power there.
I know exactly what
Okay, so now it's starting to reflect like the conversation I was eavesdropping in on before, but it's either going to be near those massive power lines, which will be near, but it's got nothing to do with connecting to them, but they'll be near there. So there's always an issue with the static that comes off them, but there'll be an issue of getting the power from where it's connected to where you are at.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So, but these days, I mean, the power thing since solar got invented, it's neither here nor there really. A lot of these places that are off grid, they generate enough power. There's these retreats and that, they have enough there to, it's cheaper to set up with that than what it is to get the power there.
Yeah. Yep,
and then because they're only there of a retreat or a weekend and there's only a caretaker there, the batteries don't go flat.
Right.
What are you thinking? Because there's storms run through there and you've got to be careful of the wash.
Okay.
So that's it's the whole valley thing,
Careful
you know.
what you think about.
Isn't it pretty down here? When the next storm hits, everything goes down the gully. So
Goodness me. I can never have peace and tranquility in my cup.
peace and tranquility. All this electrical
You
storm
came here for a
happening.
big life, didn't you?
Did.
Not a calm one.
Are you feeling nervous?
I am. Can you feel that from me?
I just-
Can you? I am. I just had this moment of
Oh my God, what's he going to say?
yeah.
Eve. How old are the little dogs now?
10 and 8.
10 and 8. There's a new one coming. Do you think about breeding dogs?
No.
Ooh,
I'm not.
You just make sure this new one, if it's a stray, just check the size
Would
of
it have
it.
to be stray because I've got no more dogs. No, I love our doggies, but
I just
It's
see a new
enough.
dog, but I see a lot of legs too. So this one's obviously, Can we keep it? Yeah. And all of a sudden we can't give the puppies away.
only
Usual.
if we've got property.
You can't dump the dog there all week. No, this will be a little dog actually. So
Yeah, we like our little dogs.
what are you going to get into very shortly? Because I see a lot of writing and numerals coming up for you.
I'm writing a new online tarot program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lots of numbers.
Yeah.
The whole hieroglyphic sort of thing. Actually, that would go quite well. You realise that, don't you? There's a lot of people that are really interested in that. On an online thing.
Yeah.
So you'd really have to break it down. People can't. People don't realise that they read too much into it, and they take it too serious, and they get frustrated because they don't understand. Like, why don't I get a vision, or why isn't things more clarity or whatever? If they just relax and
lighten up.
Yeah. Just concentrate on the card. Don't try and read it. Just look at the card. It'll tell you a story, and then you'll pick up and connect with the rest of it. But yeah, no, that'll go quite well. That actually, if you start that'll go for quite a long time.
Good.
Yeah.
It has started in terms of the writing of it, and so certainly the scaffold is there, and the levels, and the chapters.
You're going to use the shop name, or?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, run it through Mysteries. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that'll work. That'll be brilliant.
Yeah.
That'll actually get a following, and people.
Yeah.
Because
not everyone can make it here in person, whether they're local and it just doesn't suit them to come in the time that it runs, or they're not local but they'd still like to access.
Yeah.
And an Australian run course too.
Yeah. True. As I say to everybody else, there's no doom and gloom in your cup. Only this dog with a lot of little legs.
It's not doom and gloom.
Storm.
You are a storm. You are a storm.
I am the storm. That is so true. And on that note,
yeah, we really should wrap this up. But yeah, that's been fun. It's fun. Thank
you, ladies.
It's
pleasure.
Thank you for the demonstration and the chat, and
I look forward to my storm.
Yes, and I'll be wary of the puppies. And who's going to bring a puppy home?
It followed me. Yeah.
Yeah, it followed me home.
Well, you got a rope tied to its neck.
All right, thank you for joining us, and until next time, this has been a conversation with Cacao.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, girls.
Thank you.